Hey everyone, these are a series of videos to show how to set up a local MCR from scratch. The prerequisite to this is basically configure an Amazon EC2 instance. So the top level documentation shows the architecture for the Flow multi-cloud runtime. And we have a document that describes the system requirements that are required. We move on through the documentation that we're going to look at today, and the series of videos that's going to show you how to create create your own local multi-cloud runtime from scratch. So we're going to start around this section. We're going to have a look at creating a local connection, but we'll come back to this further in our journey. This is where we would set up a key to hook up to our multi-cloud runtime. So we're going to start with our EC2 instance, and I've started mine. I have my instance running, and I'm going to log on to that. I now have my console into my EC2 instance. So the prerequisite to this is that you have an EC2 instance up. I'm using a Debian instance. It really doesn't matter, but it's up to you. You can have whatever flavor, and then you can um, base your multi-cloud on that. I've used a single EC2 and I'm putting everything on the same one. And you could do this as a basic install. Once you've got this all up and running, you can use this as a basis to then separate each of the components to different machines if you want to. You can then put your own redundancy behind that, and you can use backups, and you can do all those sorts of things after that. The idea of these videos is to get you into a position where you've got the basics running, and it's up and working, and you can see a flow running through a local multi-cloud runtime. So I've got a Debian system. It's that mine is a T2 medium, 2 CPU. So it's out of the free. It's one step beyond the free tier, but you should be able to understand how that fits together. It's not expensive. Okay, local runtime Docker installation. So we're going this is basically saying get Docker installed onto your machine, like we've just talked about my EC2 instance. So we're going to start here. There is some documentation against the Docker docs, and I have used a Debian EC2 instance, so I'm using the Docker install documentation for Debian. I've actually already installed this, but what we'll do is we can use this tip here for in the upgrade Docker. Let's double check I've got the right version. So follow steps 2. So I'm going to use this, and I've used the default. So where's my instance? What I'll do here is, let's copy that again. So I'm going to check the install and upgrade it if it needs to be, but everything is at the latest release. So I've got a Docker that's at the latest release. That's the first thing to check. Let's check that this is working. So I get a hello world, hello from Docker, and we can see that our Docker container, our Docker is working because this is now a container. Let's have a look. And we can see that I've got a new hello world 45 seconds ago. So the next step is we've now got a Docker installed. So we now have Docker installed, and we can now have a look. We can see where the Flow Docker images reside. So the Flow Docker images reside here. We've got an overview page that links to the Boomi multi-cloud runtime, and we have tags. These tags represent the latest the releases that have been made by the Boomi Flow engineering team with fixes and updates and new material. So you can see here that the latest tag is the same tag as the last update, September 3rd, 2024, 11/22, 11/22. So you can tag your Docker to a specific tag version, and you can see there are many different versions, or you can tag your Docker to the latest. Be aware that if your Docker container comes down and then comes back up again, if they've made a new release, you may get a different version. It's not always the best practice to have it set to latest. For the purposes of these videos, I'm going to set this to latest.